Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. I apologize for my tardiness. We won't be doing the camera today. I'm a little bit disheveled, but I hope your morning is going well. I'll start without much delay since y'all already been waiting. I appreciate your patience. We're going to be in Judges chapter 18 today. Again, we start in Judges chapter 18. We won't be doing a Q&A moment. However, if y'all think of any questions during the lesson and they happen to be in the chat, I may be able to get around to answering them by the end of our read through. So if you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat and we may circle around to them, but I won't be giving a moment for nobody to ask no questions at the end just because we got such a late start. How's y'all weekend going so far? Pray everybody's been blessed. I pray everybody's Sunday starting off smooth. Shalom, shalom. It's been a turbulent time for the nation. It's been a turbulent time for our people for sure. And we need to add some stability, for everybody that's rocking to and fro and seeing what's going on and worrying, trying to think on ways that we could do that. Shout out to my right hand man, Azariah. The same thing troubling me right now with regards to the instability is something that, he wanted to speak on a few days ago. I asked the brother not to go into it directly. And, he honored me in that, but it's vexing my spirit too. And, there are some angles by which we can navigate it without being violators of the Torah or busybodies. I think there's an example being made of the men of this community right now. Some of the women too, some of the sisters are toxic and that's being revealed through the events that have unfolded, but mainly it's the men that are being revealed in these last days. Their true face is being showed, and it's disturbing at best. It's disturbing at best. And shout out to Azariah again, brother. We might have to side by side rebuke that. So we'll talk about it, if not today, tomorrow. And what we're going to do is just go to some direct examples of the toxic things that the men in this community are for sure doing. You know what I'm saying? We don't need evidence. We don't need more context beyond what's being revealed because it's in real time. In real time, we're judging matters in a real sick and biased way, and that's just not what the Most High called us to do. We're supposed to judge what? A righteous judgment. Even if that means you don't get the clicks and the views, we are to judge a righteous judgment. Even if that means you're going to have to stand up and argue a little bit longer, you have to judge a righteous judgment. Even if that means that you make enemies out of people you look up to, you have to judge a righteous judgment. And it's been an exhausting task, you know what I'm saying? We really give our lives to this thing. Even the brothers that are, going off, what happens is it's about what you're identifying with. What does the scripture say? Wherever your light is, that's where your heart's going to be. If your light is darkness, then, and I'm paraphrasing drastically, then the darkness in your heart is going to be great. It's going to be immense. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful where your heart is, whether you're identifying with a logo and you're giving your heart to that logo, or, you identify with the logos and you're giving your heart to the logos. It's going to be made manifest, and it's being made manifest in these last days. Brothers is identifying with a he-man, woman hater spirit. Niggas is identifying with we're going to have hella broads in the kingdom spirit. Brothers are identifying with a it's better over here logo spirit. It's Brothers are identifying with all those things, but then, they're doing it by Hashem Mashiach Hawashai, in the name of Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. And it's a blame. It's pointing the finger at him, doing it in that name, but that name didn't ask you to do these things or to identify in these ways. And this is the epitome of what he meant when he said many are going to call out Lord, Lord in those days and say, haven't I cast out devils in your name? Haven't I cut hella Edomites? Haven't I won a lot of debates? Haven't I really put on for the logo of the ISUPK, the name of GMS, the Sakari, FOG? And then, our king is going to say, I never knew you. Because all along we weren't identifying with him. We were identifying with something that we're seeking after within that we think we're going to find. And we think that blaming it on the name of Mashiach is going to get us the free pass to explore those options. And it's a scary, scary thing that we're seeing it happen in such a way. And this is just the beginning of the avalanche. The avalanche has officially begun, and now there's bigger fish that are going to fry. So yeah, don't just put your seatbelt on, pick up your sword, your shield, and gird yourself up so that you're protected spiritually in these last days. I'll stop rambling. I'm gonna put my Bible on the screen. Again, we're in Judges chapter 18. It's been a wonderful read through so far. Shalom, baby, shalom. Shalom, baby. Brother Gabriel, shalom. I gotta stop calling you Gabar Yala. My apologies. Shalom, shalom. Damn ads. Hold on, y'all. Let me figure this out. Turn these ads off real quick. We don't want no ads at Bible study. Just give me a minute, y'all. All right, they shouldn't be popping up no more. Thank you for the heads up, Brother Gabriel. Lily in the building, shalom. Lonnie in the building, shalom. Brother Taz in the building, shalom. Azariah in the building, shalom. 5 shaloms worth of peace to y'all. So Judges 18:1 says, in those days there was no king in Israel. And in those days, the tribe of Dan was seeking for itself an inheritance to dwell in. For until then, no inheritance among the tribes of Israel had fallen to them. So the people of Dan sent 5 able men from the whole number of the tribe, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land, to explore it. And they said to them, go and explore the land. And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of a young Levite, and they turned aside and said to him, who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? What is your business here? And he said to them, this is how Micah dealt with me. He has hired me, and I have become his priest. And they said to him, inquire of God, please, that we might know whether the journey on which we are setting out will succeed. And the priest said to them, go in peace. The journey on which you go is under the eye of the Lord. When the 5 men departed and came to Laish and saw the people who were there, how they lived in security after the manner of the Sidonians, quiet and unsuspecting, lacking nothing that is in the earth and possessing wealth, how they were far from the Sidonians and had no dealings with anyone. And when they came to their brothers at Zorah and Eshtaol, their brothers said to them, what do you report? And they said, arise and let us go up against them. for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And will you do nothing? Do not be slow to go to enter in and possess the land. As soon as you go, you will come to an unsuspecting people. The land is spacious, for God has given it into your hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is in the earth. So 600 men of the tribe of Dan, armed with weapons of war, set out from Zorah and Eshtaol, and went up and encamped at Kiriath Jearim in Judah. On this account, the place is called Meninadan to this day. Behold, it is west of Kiriath Jearim. And they passed on from their hill country of Ephraim and came to the house of Micah. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout out the country of Laish said to their brothers, do you know that in these houses there are an ephod, household gods, and carved image, and a metal image? Now therefore consider what you do. And they turned aside there and came to the house of the young Levite at the home of Micah and asked him about his welfare. Now the 600 men of the Danites, armed with their weapons of war, stood by the entrance of the gate. And the 5 men who had gone to scout out the land went up and entered and took the carved images, ephod, the household gods, and the metal image, while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. And when these went into Micah's house and took the carved image, the ephod, the household gods, and the metal image, the priest said to them, what are you doing? And they said to him, keep quiet, put your hand on your mouth and come with us and be to us a father and a priest. It is better for you to be a priest to the house of one man or to the priest of the tribe of the clan of Israel. We done went over this already last week, y'all. I'm letting y'all down. You know what? We're going to go through it and we're going to read through 19. And the priest's heart was glad. He took the ephod and the household gods and the carved image and went along with the people. So they turned and departed, putting the little ones and the livestock and the goods in front of them. When they had gone a distance from the home of Micah, the men who were in the houses near Micah's house were called out, and they overtook the people of Dan. And they shouted to the people of Dan, who turned around and said to Micah, what is the matter with you, that you come with such a company? And he said, you take my gods that I made and the priests and go away. And what have I left? How then do you ask me, what is the matter? And the people of Dan said to him, do not let your voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows fall upon you and you lose your life with the lives of your household. Then the people of Dan went their way. And when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back to his home. But the people of Dan took what Micah had and the priest who belonged to him, and they came to Laish, to a people quiet and unsuspecting, and struck them with the edge of the sword and burned the city with fire. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no dealings with anyone. It was in the valley that belongs to Beth Rehob. Then they built the city and lived in it. And they named the city Dan, after the name of Dan, their ancestor, who was born to Israel. But the name of the city was Laish at the first. And the people of Dan set up the carved image for themselves. And Jonathan, the son of Gershom, son of Moses, and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the day of the captivity of the land. So they set up Micah's carved image that he made, as long as the house of God was in Shiloh. Chapter 19. In those days, when there was no king in Israel, a certain Levite was sojourning in the remote parts of the hill country of Ephraim, who took himself a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah. This is a little bit more on point with the issue that I take with the Israelite men right now. Appear to be disgusted. who took himself a concubine from Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine was unfaithful to him. And she went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Judah, and was there, some 4 months. Then her husband arose and went after her to speak kindly to her and to bring her back. He had with him his servant, a couple of donkeys, and she brought him into the father's house. And when the girl's father saw it, he came with joy to meet him. And his father-in-law, the girl's father, made him stay, and he remained with him 3 days. So they ate and drank and spent the night there. And on the 4th day, they arose early in the morning, and he prepared to go. But the girl's father said to his son-in-law, "Strengthen your heart with a morsel of bread, and after that you may go." So the two of them sat and ate and drank together. And the girl's father said to the man, "Be pleased to spend the night, and let your heart be merry." And when the man rose up to go, his father-in-law pressed him till he spent the night there again. And on the 5th day, he arose early in the morning to depart. And the girl's father said, "Strengthen your heart and wait until the day declines." So they ate, both of them. And when the man and his concubine and his servant rose up to depart, his father-in-law, the girl's father, said to him, "Behold, now the day has waned toward evening. Please spend the night. Behold, the day draws to its close. Lodge here and let your heart be merry, and tomorrow you shall arise early in the morning for your journey and go home." But the man would not spend the night. He rose up and departed and arrived opposite Jebus, that is Jerusalem. He had with him a couple of saddled donkeys, and his concubine was with him. When they were near Jebus, the day was nearly over. And the servant said to his master, "Come now, let us turn aside to the city of the Jebusites and spend the night in it." And his master said to him, "We will not turn aside unto the city of foreigners who do not belong to the people of Israel, but we will pass on to Gibeah." Now, think of the logic, right? We're not going to turn aside to the city of foreigners who don't belong to the people of Israel. We're going to make a better move, and we're going to pass on to Gibeah. And he said to his young man, "Come and let us draw near to one of these places and spend the night at Gibeah at Ramah." So they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down on them near Gibeah, which belongs to Benjamin. So they landed at Benjamin, and they turned aside there to go in and spend the night at Gibeah. And he went in and sat down in the open square of the city, for no one took them into the house to spend the night. So, already it's off. You know what I'm saying? When you're passing through, you're not supposed to turn aside from taking your brother or your sister in if they're without a place to dwell safely for a night. It just ought not to be so. You're supposed to be first to greet them and bring them into the house. You see what I'm saying? They did not see that hospitality, even though they passed by the city of the Jebusites. Granted, you're not supposed to deal with the Jebusites, but their mindset was, if we go to the children of Israel, our kinsmen, things are going to be better. Let me see something here. It's I can't think of the law that I'm gonna pull, but let's just talk about strangers in general. Right. Leviticus 19:33-34 says, "The stranger living among you is to be treated as a native born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. So how much more your brother?" You know what I'm saying? It says God loves the stranger, giving him food and clothing. And Israel is commanded to love the stranger. That's Deuteronomy 10:18 through 19. So how much more your actual brother or sister? And we be like, to hell with the Gentiles all day. It's Israel only. You know, we're chosen above all people, but we don't even choose ourselves over all people, or should I say each other, because we got the self part down. We got the self part down pat. You know what I'm saying? We love exalting ourselves as Israelites, especially the men of the community. But, you know, everything else around us, namely the women, we like to cast them down really low. But I'm not gonna go all the way there right now. I just want to take a look at this pocket example right here, where they turned aside to go and spend the night at Gibeah, and he went in and sat down in the open square of the city. So they go spend the night, you know, on the streets, because nobody wanted to be cordial and hospitable to their own kinsmen to take them in, keep them safe. That's off. Verse 16, and behold, an old man was coming from his work in the field at evening. The man was from the hill country of Ephraim, and he was sojourning in Gibeah. The men of the place were Benjamites. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the opening square of the city. And the old man said, where are you going? And where do you come from? And he said to him, we are passing from Bethlehem in Judah to the remote parts of the hill country of Ephraim, from which I come. I went to Bethlehem in Judah, and I'm going to the house of the Lord. But no one has taken me into his house. We have straw and feed for our donkeys, with bread and wine for me and your female servant, and the young man with your servants. There is no lack of anything. And the old man said, peace be to you. I will care for all your wants. Only do not spend the night in the square. So finally, you know, an elder, you know, an old man, somebody who got some sense, who's probably a little less dissociated from the old ways, you know, he sees what's going on and invites them into his house. So he brought him into his house and gave the donkeys feed, and they washed their feet and ate and drank. Sometimes the bravest thing you could do is just slow down for a moment and see what a brother or a sister needs. Sometimes it's the bravest thing that you can do. In 2026, I can imagine that being a little scary, especially when things go all Mad Max in the last days. You don't know who to trust, but the law is still the law. You know, what God commanded is still what God commanded. And who knows why these brothers and sisters didn't want to give this man a place to rest his donkeys in his head. But look, it's always going to be made manifest, whether we have the fear of God or is it the fear of something else. It's always going to be made manifest if we have the spirit of power or another spirit. As they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, the worthless fellows, surrounded the house, beating on the door. And they said to the old man, the master of the house, bring out the man who came into your house, that we may know him. So the Bati boys came to the door, and they wanted the man of the city to be brought out. This is very reminiscent of the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. And the man, the master of the house, went out to them and said to them, no, my brothers, do not ask so wickedly. Since this man has come into my house, do not do this vile thing. Behold, here are my virgin daughters and his concubine. Let me bring them out and violate them and do with them what seems good to you. But against the man, do not do this outrageous thing. I want to make something clear. This is in the scriptures, right? You're not going to sit here and tell me that this is righteous. Not the Benjamites banging on the door, not the Bati boys banging on the door, and not the man's solution. Don't violate this man, violate these women instead. You niggas are operating in that spirit where women are just less valuable, but you want them. You want to put them on a shelf. You want to have them, but only to go out and get more. But you're willing to throw them under the bus and allow them to be violated instead of taking your licks. You know what I'm saying? The head of the house is supposed to protect the contents of the house and the foundation of the house, and vice versa. The foundation of the house is not to be discarded. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures say through slothfulness, the house is falling into decay, meaning that there's not one aspect of the house that's to be neglected. So when it comes to a man and a woman, the one flesh, you're not supposed to allow your arm to be violated, to be abused. You're supposed to protect that, and it in return will protect you. But we're operating in another spirit. We're operating in behold, my virgin daughters in this concubine. Let me bring them out now and violate them and do with them what seems good to you. But against this man, do not an outrageous thing. It says you're not supposed to lay with a man as with a woman. And it also says if you rape a woman, you're supposed to be put to death, because that's as bad as murder. So this is not righteous judgment. It's vile all around. And the outrage is going to be, it's going to be focused on the wrong thing. We be focused on the wrong thing. So it says, but the men would not listen to him. So the man seized his concubine and made her go out to them. And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And as the dawn began to break, they let her go. And as the morning appeared, the woman came and fell down at the door of the man's house where her master was until it was light. Imagine, because this woman's in indentured servitude, imagine you have a debt. I can't imagine it. Imagine you have a debt, and so you decide, you know what, I'm gonna have my daughter go work for a rich man and settle my debts. He's gonna care for her. He's rich, so God must love him, because oftentimes that was the thought back in that day. He might be like Job, you know what I'm saying? He might, so she gonna be good over there, only to find out that the nigga threw her outside like a distraction to a pit of piranhas so that his ass could be saved. And then the question that comes to mind is like, damn, I think would I rather have the debt? And I think the answer should be yes, if we value the right things. But this man is never gonna see his daughter again. There's not going to be any justice for her. And her master rose up in the morning, and when he opened the doors of the house and went out to go on his way, behold, there was his concubine laying at the door of the house with her hands on the threshold. He said to her, "Get up, let us be going." What a bastard. What a bastard. Now, mind you, she committed adultery, right? She was unfaithful. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to kill both the man and the woman that commits the adultery. That's fair and just judgment. There's not any gray area in the law, statutes, and commandments for cruel and unusual punishment. You see what I'm saying? So you either have the care or you don't. And we really got to start being so black and white. What I'm proposing is that you niggas, like you men, how about we'll talk to the men, because the niggas ain't gonna be able to comprehend this. They're worthless fellows. You see what I'm saying? Just like the Bati boys in this passage. Men are gonna understand that you're supposed to love the sister the moment you meet her. Before then, because what is love? Who been paying attention to me all this time? What is love? How do we sum that up? What is the etymology of ahab in the Hebrew? We harp on it because it needs to become such an easy concept to grasp that there's no way to mistake love for something else and something else for love. What is love in the Hebrew? What does ahab mean? in the Hebrew etymological sense. You know what I'm saying? It means strength from home or strength at home. So that means that you have to understand where your strength is, and you have to have a grasp of what home is, right? It's a difference between where home is and what home is. Let's make that clear. What home is and where home is. Your home is wherever your people are. So that when y'all travel from place to place, there should be a home amongst you. There should have been a home waiting for this man and his concubine and his servant when he went into this land. And there should have been love there where he could be strengthened. It should have been love in there, and he should have been able to see love emanating off that place when he approached it, just like he expected. And the woman should have been able to expect the same thing. It's just facts. So when you approach a woman, you should be of the mind that if you meet a woman, that you are willing to strengthen her, not just to get her in the bed, but if she needs some water, to pass her some water. If she needs some directions up the street, then goddamn it, you should be willing to point her up the street if you know the way to go. It don't have to start with you getting her number. It don't have to start with a little flirtation. It don't have to start with her standing there. She got a Carl's Jr. burger in her hand, and I stopped because I wanted a piece of it. Like Day. It's supposed to start wherever you are. When you move from place to place on a day-to-day, you're supposed to have that love in you. You see what I'm saying? Then the extras, they can begin to take place if you explore a further relationship. But love should not be contingent upon your sexual desires or what you want from that woman and like based on what you want from that man. You niggas don't have love in you. We don't have love in us. And so when we come to this thing, we're supposed to be learning how to awaken that, what that looks like, and what that's supposed to feel like, where it's supposed to take place and where it's not. We're supposed to learn those key little nuances. But we don't. We love the imagery of us being kings, and we love the imagery of us ruling our household with an iron fucking fist. We love, and excuse my language, those of y'all, man, usually it's a little lighter in Bible study. I apologize. No excuse. We got to do better. So men, I'm calling y'all to, set the example. It shouldn't be no, I don't love the brother. I don't love the sister. You can not like somebody for sure, but you gotta love them. That's the simple thing. That's the commandments. You don't get to have that bias. And what you'll find is that if you don't have the capacity to love your brother, then you damn sure ain't got no business loving a sister. Not in that way. Cause you're gonna be just as foul there, if not worse. So he said to her, "Get up, let us be going." But there was no answer. Then he put her on the donkey, and the man rose up and went away to his home. And when he entered his house, he took a wife, and taking hold of his concubine, he divided her limb by limb into 12 pieces and sent her throughout all the territory of Israel. And all who saw it said, "Such things have never happened before or have never happened or been seen from the day that the people of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt until this day. Consider it, take counsel, and speak. Then the people of Israel came out from Dan to Beersheba, including the land of Gilead, and the congregation assembled as one man to the Lord at Mizpah. And the chiefs of the people, all of the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 men on foot that drew the sword. But the people of Benjamin heard that the people of Israel had gone up to Mizpah. And the people of Israel said, tell us, how did this evil happen? And the Levite, the husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, I came to Gibeah, that belongs to Benjamin, I and my concubine, to spend the night. And the leaders of Gibeah rose against me and surrounded the house against me. By night, they meant to kill me, and they violated my concubine, and she's dead. This, first of all, nigga didn't tell the whole story. I gotta stop there. First of all, the nigga didn't tell the whole story. No, you didn't have the wherewithal, you didn't have the balls, and you didn't have the love to keep her in the house, and instead devise a plan where y'all could fight back. Either dwell safely until the day come and y'all can escape. You thought they got a lot of gas in their tank. I'm gonna throw her outside and let her get the worst of it so that I could be free. You like we're gonna die by that, but we're damn sure not gonna be able to live by that mentality. I'm not even gonna take questions. I'm so goddamn irritated because as we read Judges, it's just nothing new under the sun. We always want to throw the rest of the body under the bus. We always want to throw the sisters under the bus. I'm gonna speak on some of it right now, and Azariah, like I said, we might talk on it, later. But you guys are so wet for other men. I'm talking to you niggas. I'm not talking to the men, but you brothers are so wet for other men that you will do anything to justify their actions in the name of the Israelite man is the prize. I'm sorry, but if the man is the prize for an Israelite man, you're a faggot. You just are. The woman should be your prize and you hers. But by no means should you just be so great on your pedestal that when there is an injustice done that you can't see it because it was committed by a man, or even moreover for you, a man that you desire so much to be like in his comments. Niggas look in the beard and they're like, man, I wish my beard was like his beard. I'd give up this full hairline to have a beard like his beard. I wish my breakdown could be like his breakdown. I'd give up all my other faculties to be able to read the Bible like he reads the Bible. Oh, the charisma. Oh, that infallible brother. Keep your head up, brother. I know you socked her. I know you abused her emotionally, financially. Keep your head up. It happens to all of us. It shouldn't. But then what does the sister get is, oh, you asked for it when you got with me. You should have chose better. As if niggas don't lie about who they are. How about if we would only be better, then our sisters wouldn't be in a predicament where they have to know psychology in order to analyze who's a psychopath or not. What if we just stop raising narcissists? What if we valued the things that the scriptures tell us to value? What if we actually knew what love was, what ahab was? What if we were able to find that within ourselves with the help of the scriptures? The same ones we teach out of, the same, like we done made the church step up on reading their Bible so much that now they're cutting the Israelites to goddamn ribbons in 2026. But this is why they're winning, is because we stopped at Israel only salvation. We stopped at who's going into captivity. The virgin birth, all the favorite stupid ass topic that we love to debate about, we stopped there when it came to our studies, but we did not figure out the mystery about love. Like, we could break down polygyny forwards, backwards, sideways in Chinese, catch the gift of fucking tongues to break that down in another language. But the concept of love is just so far beyond y'all that a sister could cry out and say I was abused, and y'all could say better you than me. You should have chose better. Just like this filth that we saw in the book of Judges 19 through 20. I'm gonna let you guys know something. I ain't wanted to affiliate with you niggas for a long time. I think those of you that really are aware of me and my body of work, I think you have noticed that I much rather would not fuck with you if you're on that type of time. And maybe I made some of y'all uncomfortable, and I hope you've been uncomfortable. And I'm gonna start going even harder at making y'all uncomfortable because you need to be. I guess that's the only way that you're going to be made to change. You had to acknowledge you're in captivity to move your feet and want to be kings again. Now we got to just put some fire up under your ass to show you how to love again. And you know what? The Most High is going to really hit the gas on that. He's going to show you that you really are going to miss the things that you took for granted. When you had a big community around you of a whole bunch of people wanting to be the people of God. All this glory is going to fall off. We're going to be wearing matching raggedy clothes, wanting to eat bread out the garbage can, a lot of us in these last days. And you know what's not going to save you? Your subscriber count, your breakdowns. It's going to be as the nigga that, are you the nigga that is got the spirit of love, the spirit of power, or are you something else? I apologize. I'm not taking no questions. If there were any questions in the chat, do not ask yourself if I looked at or saw your question. I'm not going to look. Every week, I find myself more irritated at the situation that is befalling this community. Knowing it was coming was one thing, but seeing it unfold is another. Like, y'all annoy me so much because you're so mighty to debate. So mighty to talk down about the Christians, so mighty where it really don't matter. But you are little rotted, spineless, oily, serpentine creatures. The bulk of you. Shalom.